It's hard to believe how far things have fallen. For years, Remy Ma and Papoose were seen as the power couple of hip-hop. Through struggles, prison time, and constant industry drama, they stood by each other. People used their names as an example of loyalty, of holding each other down through the worst storms. But now, that same love story has collapsed in a way that no one expected. Because instead of standing together, Remy is standing against him in court. And while she's fighting through legal battles, Papoose is planning his future with someone new, and not just anyone. He's openly declaring his intentions with Claressa Shields. The shock of it all began when news broke that Remy had filed a child support case against Papoose. For fans, it was unthinkable. How could the man who once stood outside prison doors waiting for her release now be the same man she's dragging into court? But according to people close to her, this wasn't about spite. This wasn't about embarrassment. This was about survival, about finally putting her foot down after months, maybe years, of feeling ignored and betrayed. For Remy, this was her way of saying she was done waiting for respect that wasn't coming. Court insiders claimed that the paperwork made it clear she was asking for child support for their daughter, making sure that Papoose would be legally bound to take care of his responsibilities. And the timing couldn't have been more dramatic, because almost at the same moment Remy was filing legal documents, Papoose was stepping into the public eye with Claressa. The boxer, who had once been caught in the middle of their arguments, was suddenly being spoken about as his new future, his next chapter, and his possible wife. The internet couldn't handle it. Social media exploded with posts, threads, and arguments. Some people stood firmly with Remy, saying she deserved better after all the loyalty she showed. Others turned their anger toward Claressa, accusing her of disrespect and betrayal. And a few even defended Papoose, claiming he had stayed loyal for years and maybe he finally wanted peace, even if that peace came in the arms of another woman. But no matter where you looked, the energy was chaotic, messy, and heated. The truth is, the cracks in Remy and Papoose's marriage didn't start with this case. The signs had been there for a long time. Cheating rumors had followed them for months, with whispers of Papoose being spotted out late, with women who weren't his wife. At first, Remy ignored it. She had built her life on defending her marriage, and she wasn't about to let strangers dictate her reality. But silence has a way of building pressure. And with every new rumor, every new whisper, the weight grew heavier. When the infamous side chick drama spilled into the public earlier this year, the image of their perfect bond cracked wide open. Behind the scenes, insiders say Remy felt humiliated. She had always been the one who sacrificed, the one who stayed, the one who trusted Papoose when others doubted him. And now, to see her trust being shattered in such a public way was unbearable. Filing child support wasn't just about money. It was about power, about reminding him and the world that she wasn't going to be left looking weak. But while Remy was fighting in court, Papoose was painting a very different picture. Instead of speaking out about the case, instead of defending himself, he leaned harder into his connection with Claressa Shields. What started as whispers turned into undeniable confirmation. He began showing up at events with her. He smiled in photos. He hinted in interviews that his heart was in a new place. And when pressed about the future, he didn't dodge the question. He confirmed that marriage with Claressa was a real possibility. For fans, it felt like betrayal stacked on betrayal. How could a man still legally tied to Remy be openly planning a wedding with someone else? How could the loyalty he built his reputation on vanish so quickly? And for Remy, this must have cut deeper than the legal fight. Because while she was in court trying to secure her daughter's future, the man she once called her soulmate was promising another woman a future of her own. Claressa, for her part, didn't shy away from the attention. At first, she seemed caught off guard, overwhelmed by the backlash. But then she started posting with more confidence, speaking about finding happiness, about not apologizing for love. Still, the pressure got to her. In one emotional live stream, she broke down in tears, saying she never meant to hurt anyone, that her relationship wasn't about competition or disrespect, but about following her heart. But those words didn't calm the storm. If anything, they made people even angrier. Remy's silence through all of this was deafening. She didn't post angry rants. She didn't call anyone out by name. She let the court papers speak for her. But those who know her said behind closed doors, she was devastated. Filing child support was her way of making sure her daughter was protected, but emotionally, she was still reeling from the betrayal. Friends say she cried in private, angry not just at Papoose but at herself for believing for so long that their story was unbreakable. The fallout hit the industry hard. Celebrities started picking sides without saying names. Cardi B posted about loyalty being rare and protecting your peace. Fat Joe, a longtime friend of Remy's, was seen publicly supporting her, refusing to acknowledge Papoose at events. Nicki Minaj, never one to miss an opportunity for shade, made sly comments online about women who settle for crumbs when they deserve the whole cake. Fans immediately assumed she was talking about Remy, though some said it was a jab at Claressa. Either way, the drama was fuel for the internet fire. Meanwhile, Papoose faced growing criticism. Even those who once admired him for his loyalty now questioned whether it had all been an act. Was he ever really as devoted as he claimed? Or had he been waiting for the right moment to move on? The whispers of multiple affairs didn't help his case. And every time another woman hinted at a connection, the damage grew deeper. But the legal side of things made it all more serious. Child support cases aren't just about money. They're about legal responsibility, accountability, and long-term consequences. If the court sided with Remy, Papoose could be facing significant payments that would affect him for years. And fans couldn't help but wonder, how could he be planning a new marriage when he hadn't even dealt with the fallout of the old one? Claressa also faced consequences. Her image as a champion, strong and disciplined, was suddenly clouded by accusations that she had stepped into another woman's marriage. Sponsors started watching closely. Endorsement deals, public appearances, everything was under a microscope. Some fans defended her, saying she deserved happiness, while others called her a homewrecker. And no matter what she said, the stigma followed her. Remy's daughter, caught in the middle, became the unspoken victim in all of this. Friends close to the family said she had started asking questions, wondering why her parents weren't together. And while Remy tried to shield her, it was impossible to hide the headlines. For a mother who had fought so hard to build stability after prison, this was her worst nightmare. Watching her child suffer because of adult mistakes. The story continued to spiral as more people came forward with claims about Papoose's behavior. Some women hinted at long-term connections, saying he had been unfaithful for years. Screenshots circulated. Voice notes leaked. And with every new revelation, the image of him as the faithful husband crumbled further. The man who once stood as the poster child for loyalty was now being painted as just another man who couldn't stay faithful. And through it all, the question that haunted everyone was simple. What happens next? Would Remy push the case further, demanding not just support but custody arrangements? Would Papoose go through with marrying Claressa, even while his marriage to Remy was barely cold? And would Claressa be able to withstand the storm of criticism long enough to hold on to this new relationship? For now, the answers remain unclear. What's certain is that the love story that once inspired millions has ended in a courtroom. The man who once wrote poems about loyalty is now planning vows with someone else. And the woman who once stood by him through prison walls is now standing against him in legal battles. It's a story of betrayal, of shifting loyalties, of unexpected twists that no one could have predicted. Because in the end, love isn't just about words. It's about actions. And the actions of Papoose, Remy, and Claressa have rewritten their legacies forever. What was once a symbol of loyalty is now a cautionary tale. And as the dust continues to settle, one thing is clear. This isn't just the end of a marriage. It's the beginning of a scandal that will be remembered in hip-hop for years to come.
Perfect.